Hey guys, this is Panther8644 back with another commentary on my TrackMANIA Nations playthrough. Hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay in the background. I think I eventually beat this level, finally, but that's for you guys to find out later. Anyway, as you guys can see by the title of this video, I recently learned, well, I learned a while ago, but I finally decided to talk about it. The Wii, like the old Wii, not the Wii U, the old Wii is getting a redesign. It's called the Wii Mini. Currently, it's only available in Canada. If you ever see any sort of like pictures of a red Wii, that's what it is. It's the Wii Mini. It is a cut-down version of the Wii. It has no internet. It cannot play GameCube games, and it's only $99. So this got me thinking, as far as what do I think about console redesigns in general? Because the Xbox 360's been redesigned. If you guys remember, it was originally that white one that had a whole bunch of issues with heat problems. You had to do the towel trick, you had the red ring, that kind of stuff. The PS3's been redesigned. It's actually going to get another redesign before its cycle's over. The PS2 was redesigned, the PS1 was redesigned. All these things get redesigned. What does that mean for the gaming community, these consoles, everything? So, I just wanted to give you guys my thoughts. So, pretty much, my overview of what I think, it's a very good thing for people who haven't bought in yet. If you're not too sure about a console, especially I can see this with the 360s. You hear about all these problems with red rings and optical drives failing, getting really hot, all that kind of stuff. I'd be really tentative about buying that kind of hardware. But if you get a redesign, this shiny new box comes out and they promise, hey, we fixed it all, it's not going to do that anymore. Then that's going to bring in new customers, more revenue, all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty good for these people that were on the fence in the beginning, because they hear all these horror stories of people's Xboxes, but they can get in now because they don't have to worry about that. But it kind of sucks for the people that do get in early, because now they're stuck with their old piece of crap, box that overheats, red rings, all that kind of stuff, and they have to go out and buy another one that doesn't. So, preferably you would like them to come out with the most efficient, best Xbox, best console, portable, whatever, the first time around. But with how much time they have to put into these things to get them actually, out there and working as best as possible, it takes some time. They need to have the mass sample size of a console release, having them in millions of households, in order to figure out all the little problems and figure out ways to fix them the best, cost efficient ways. So if that new one's better, it sucks for the early guys, but in the end they still are getting a better box if they do buy back in. But it's on the fence as far as the good versus the bad, because you get that new box. But, anyway, there's a ton of examples. I actually am going to link an article from Game Informer in the bottom that inspired me to do this commentary. It lists pretty much all the consoles that have had redesigns and what their original versus their redesign one looked like. So I'll just go through a couple of the ones that I have had either first-hand experience for or I felt were very significant. If you look all the way back to the original Game Boy, if you remember the form factor, that thing was huge, and it was the black and white one, and not very ergonomical, I think is the word for it didn't work well in your hands, that kind of stuff. But they downsized it to the Game Boy Pocket, so it was still the black and white screen, but it's the size of the Game Boy Color. Perfect. That's amazing, because the Game Boy Color size was amazing for many, many years. And I mean, that's why they kept that size, because it was perfect in the hands. I guess you could kind of fit it in your pocket. I don't know, it seems a little big for that, but if you have big pockets, you can carry around your Game Boy in your pocket. So that was a really good redesign choice. It sucks for the early adopters, because they get stuck with this giant guy, but for the other guys, they're like, oh, that's kind of big, I don't want to carry that around, it'll suck down my batteries. I'm not sure if the internal components got more efficient, but a smaller one, that seems amazing. Another one that I've had first-hand experience with was the PS1. The original PS1, it was huge. It very blocky and square, not very aesthetically pleasing. But then they released the PS1. Yeah, I think it was the PlayStation 1 and then the PS1. That one was, rounded corners, very, very like shiny, not shiny white, but it was a matte white, looked really, really nice. I actually have one of those, and I'm so glad that I got in on that one versus the old one. Because, when you get past your life cycle, people don't want to go out and buy this humongous console that's going to sit on their shelves and take up space. They want to buy sleek, sexy looking, consoles that'll make their entertainment space look really nice. And I think the PS1 redesign did that. You have the Game Boy Advance that went from that purple, N gauge size. I don't really know how to describe the shape, but it went from that. They did like the SP, which is, in my opinion, my favorite revision of the Game Boy, because it has that flip. That one is truly pocket sized. You can take that one anywhere, and has a rechargeable battery. I love that so much. The Xbox 360 is, everybody knows about that one. It went from the original to that new black stealth looking awesome box. The PS3 was humongous at launch. That one was giant, and when they released the slim version, I think I got numbers like 23%. It was like 23% less size and like 30% less weight, or something ridiculous like that. And that's amazing, because that thing was so freaking big. Oh, it was 32% smaller and 36% lighter, but that thing was so huge. It was a lot of people's melting point as far as like buying one. They did not want something that big sitting on their shelves. That's just out of the question. So that was a great one, and they're even going to be releasing a super slim model that's even smaller. So finally, they're getting that one down to a reasonable size to have on your entertainment center. The PS2 also, I messed that one as far as chronologically. That one, I have the original one, and I've seen the slim ones. The slim ones are amazing. I feel like after a console's life cycle is done, redesigning it to be smaller, power efficient, look good on, just sitting there, that's the best thing you can do. I think that's a great way to go, because, if you're not going to be, having a prevalent console anymore, at least make it so that people might still want to pick it up and play one of their favorite games. Make them cheap, small, all that kind of stuff. So, it's redesigning a console is great for longevity. It gets like new media interest, because you put out ads, we're releasing a new box, all this kind of stuff, and people might say, now it's finally at a certain price, or it's small enough that I might want to buy it. It really gets the media interest. It gets the public interested. It'll boost sales before you go into hopefully another console, and it makes the device better. You have your console and it's at a certain level, and then you redesign it. It might not be that big of a redesign. It might just make it smaller. It might just make it more power efficient. It might just make it look cooler, but it still makes the console better, because it's better than when it was before. It's different, and a lot of times people get so tired of looking at the same thing over and over again that just that little bit of difference makes all the difference. I said difference too many times right there. But it also pushes the next gen to be even better, because now they have to compete with this new one that looks nice, small, all that kind of stuff. If they release this big honking thing that makes your power bill skyrocket and dies every 5 seconds, they're gonna go, well, they released this awesome thing, why can't they do that again? So it makes them push for a better console, but it also makes them not need to push for a console at all, because now they released, if they didn't redesign the Xbox 360, they would have needed to release a new Xbox sooner, because the Xbox 360 had too many problems. They really would have needed to push out that console sooner. So with these redesigns, it's really taking the console cycle and putting it in the back end and saying, hey, we can have these consoles for 6-7 years and just redesign them, and we don't need to make new ones. So it kind of sucks for the end user as far as getting new equipment, but I would rather have a box that works than a new console every 2 years, because they figured out how to fix it. So I don't know. Overall, it's good for the late adopters who are getting into it late, but it's kind of bad for the early ones, because then they get an inferior box. It keeps the old ones relevant and that kind of stuff, but it delays the newer consoles. So I don't know. It's a toss-up in my mind. Thanks for watching. Comment, like, subscribe. I always appreciate it. I'd love to hear you guys' feedback. Let me know what you think, and have a nice day.